Hello everyone, how are you? This is Dr. Mary-Zitta, and today we will be speaking about the power of your tongue. The tongue is one of the most smallest part of your body, if not the most smallest. Yet it is the most powerful part of the human body. Let's see just how powerful the tongue can be. Stick with me. Let's get started. Okay, so hello everyone, how are you today? Thank you for coming back. Today I want to speak to you about something that we often take for granted. That's the power of the tongue. In speaking about the power of the tongue, I want to address three groups of people. I want to address the parents who curse their children. I want to address the children who curse their parents. And I want to address the people who curse one another, including themselves. You know, I often hear this word, the F word, the B word. And if you don't, you've got to excuse my language, but the B word is bitch. And I hear words like the B word, the F word. I'm uncomfortable with that. Sometimes you see parents out of anger because the child has done something that is very upsetting to them. They insult them, they call them names, stupid, fool, idiot. I have a problem with that. You know, I'd rather you discipline me than insult me. I hate to be insulted. I just absolutely hate to be insulted. And I did not know why I really hated it that much, but being a grown person right now, a grown woman, I'm understanding why is such an issue for me. Because as Christians, we have to understand that our words, our tongues, they carry weight. They carry weight. We see in the book of James chapter 3 verse 5, from 5 to 12, it says that the tongue is the smallest member of the body, yet it can light fire in the forest. The tongue is so small, the smallest part of the body, but it can wage war against nations. Can you imagine the president of the United States waging war just verbally? The army is going to respond. Or can you imagine the president of China or any other major country speak words of war? The opponent is going to get ready in case there really is going to be a battle. So you can see that the tongue is small, but it can start world wars. Now let's shift into the spiritual realm a little bit. How important, how significant, how powerful is the tongue? Let's look at the book of Mark, the Gospel of Mark. Mark chapter 11 verse 12 to 25. When Jesus was leaving Bethany and was going to Jerusalem. Right before he got there and had to tell the money exchangers and all those who were taking advantage of his temple, he had to kick them out. So on his way to doing that, Jesus was hungry because he was 100% God and 100% human being. So he was hungry. And like any hungry human being, when you're hungry, you're sick for food, you yearn for food. So he saw a fig tree and he said, okay, let's make a quick stop. Let me see if there's some fig there that I can use to feed my face. And he went there. I mean, from afar, the fig tree looks like, the leaves were green. It looks like it would have fruits. Figs, rather. Jesus went there. He couldn't find any fig. So he was upset. And he cursed the fig tree. He said, from this day forward, no one will ever eat off of you anymore. No one will eat fruit from this tree anymore. He cursed the tree with his word. The following day, after he got done with his mission in the temple and chased out the money exchangers and the thieves from his house of prayer, on his way back to Bethany, 24 hours later, Peter and the other apostles, they noticed that that very tree, which was alive and vibrant the day prior, is now dried up to the roots. And they asked him, Master, wasn't this the tree we saw yesterday with green leaves and all whatnot? And now it's all dried up. So Jesus made them understand the power of their tongues. He said, I say to you, whatsoever you ask, you declare, you speak. I listen. God listens. And you have to understand that not only God listens, the enemy listens. This is the third video we're talking about the enemy, or all of the spiritual videos. I'm trying to get you to understand that there is good and evil. There is heaven and hell. Good things happen, bad things happen. The enemy attacks you on every front. So you have to understand that even when you speak words, it has impact, because God listens to you and Satan listens to you. When you speak blessings, blessings follow that which you said. Say, for instance, you bless your child. Oh, my child, it shall be well with you. You shall grow up and be successful. You shall not lack. Let your joy be full. Those are blessings, words of blessings. Then when you speak words like, you good for nothing, you would amount to nothing, like you're this, like you're that. Some parents even go to the extent of saying, you good for nothing, like your mother, like your father, you amount to nothing. How dare you? How dare you say that to anyone? You cannot say that to people. Because the names you called the child while the child was growing up, that child is going to grow up being that fool, being that stupid individual, being that idiot that you prophesied in his or her life while they were growing up. God said to Ezekiel, after Jezebel was responsible for the death of over 400 prophets of God, Jezebel fed them with her demonic food and they died. There were dry bones, skull bones, and different, scattered around the desert. And God said to Ezekiel, Ezekiel, prophesy. Prophesy to the dry bones and let it come back to life. God said, Ezekiel, prophesy to the dry bones and let it come back to life. Ezekiel did. Ezekiel prophesied. He prophesied to the dry bones. He said, Son of man, prophesy. He did. And the bones, the skull was over here and the arm was over there, and the bones were just coming together and the bones pieced themselves together. He said, continue to prophesy. Ezekiel continued to prophesy. Then the tendons came in. Those of you who know a little bit of anatomy, the tendons came in, the joints, everything, synovial fluids, everything was piecing it together. He said, continue to prophesy. Ezekiel proceeded. He proceeded. And so the muscles came. Now the entire body came together, but the people were still dead. He said, Son of man, prophesy. Ezekiel kept prophesying. And God put his breath in the lungs of all 400 prophets of his. That is the power of the tongue. Ezekiel's tongue, backed up by the power of God, brought dry bones to life. Yes, dry bones to life. That's what happens when you bless your children. That's what happens when you bless one another. It's not a coincidence. What the Bible says that encourage each other daily. Those of you who follow me on Instagram, I try to put words, scriptural words of encouragement. And one of it was, every day encourage one another, because you're speaking blessings into their life and you're receiving blessings onto your life. So just like Ezekiel, he continued to deposit good words with his tongue. His tongue was giving out good words, was planting blessings, and those bones came to life because he backed it up by God. So too, if someone keeps using bad words at you, calling you the B word, calling you the MF word, calling you the F word, calling you all sorts of names, as they continue to do that, the negativity behind those words will begin to manifest. When I was in university, I had a very good friend of mine. From what I understood, she came from a community where when you call people the B word, when you call people the B word, it's a sign of, oh, we are good, we are cool, we are close. And so I did not understand that. I thought she was being insulted every time she would call anyone that. Why would you call your friends that? So then one day she felt so comfortable with me and she called me the B word. And I looked straight into her eyes and I said, never you call me that word again. I said, do you know what this word means? The English dictionary tells me that the word bitch means that you are a female dog. I'm not a female dog. I'm a lady. I'm Mary-Zitta, Muabe, and I'm a lady. Never call me that again. So when she tried to explain to me that, oh no, where I come from, in our community, you call people that. I said, no, but not me. I have a name. I have a name. So you see, sometimes when people call themselves the B word, they end up acting like female dogs because it is so embedded into them. That's all they know. So they call themselves that, they call other people that, and then they amount to nothing because they have deposited curse upon their lives. Please be mindful of your tongues, because your tongue can bless and it can curse. Believe it. That's why when someone curses you, it follows. It follows through. When someone blesses you, it follows through. Because there's negative energy, there's positive energy. But be certain not to use the same mouth to curse and bless. Woe to you. Woe to you who does that. Because a stream, we see this in the book of James, chapter 3, verse 5. We see that a stream that yields fresh water, fresh spring water, does not yield bitter water. The outlet that yields salt does not yield sweet stuff or sugary stuff. It's contradictory. You can't do that. Pick a side. It's better for you to pick a side than to try to do both. Or you use that mouth, you say you're worshiping God. I'm speaking to Christians right now. You cannot use that mouth and say you're worshiping God, you're praising God, and then you use that same mouth and curse people around you. No, how dare you? You've got to be careful because your words carry weight. Be aware of it. God has given us power and authority to speak things to manifestation, to speak things to life, such that when someone curses you and you know of it, reverse it. In the video about, are you a wise woman? In one of my videos in the past, I asked you, are you a wise woman? And I said that as a wise woman, when you walk with God, God in His great mercy and grace, He reveals to you things that are happening, things that are yet to happen, and things that have happened in the past. So when God is wonderful enough to reveal these things to you, if it's a bad thing, you have the authority, you have the power to reverse it. You have the authority to reverse the power of the enemy against you or your household. That's because they spoke it in the darkness. You counter it. You counter it in the physical. And you use the tongue that God gave you. Okay? You can counter it. You can reverse it. Now, if God reveals to you something wonderful that's about to happen, you use your word to speak it to manifestation quicker. All right? That's how powerful our tongues are. So make no mistake, everything that comes out of your mouth, it carries weight. So you want to, as Christians, you want to have a tongue that blesses, not a tongue that curses. If you have nothing good to say to someone, hold your peace. Hold your peace. It's better you say nothing than to say the wrong thing. If you cannot compliment someone, don't even open your mouth. Don't utter a word. God did not give you that tongue to curse people. No. So you better be careful. Okay? So those of you who curse each other and you think it's cool, you're mistaken. Those of you, parents who curse their children, and those children grow up and become stupid in school. When they grow up and they cannot amount to much, don't blame anyone. You have yourself to blame because all through that child's upbringing, you kept depositing curse. What do you expect? What do you expect? I love my mother. From the moment I made my intentions known to her that I wanted to become a doctor, a medical doctor, my mother, she would always say things that would encourage me to get to that point. And I have family members and friends. And even while we were in school, we'll call ourselves Doc. Well, I really didn't call myself that because I didn't think I was there yet. But I had friends who would call me Doc and they of course expect me to call them Doc as well. Like doctor this, doctor that. So I said, okay. But what was important was even the attending physicians in the hospital called us doctors. Because when you hear it enough, you start acting like it. You start thinking like it. You start behaving like it. And as I went to the hospital, every time I get called a doctor, the first few times I look behind, are they speaking to me? Are they really speaking to me? And it dawned upon me, yeah, they are calling me a doctor. My attending physician is calling me a doctor. So I better behave like it. So it became a natural thing, a natural switch, because they were depositing positivity into my career. And so I started thinking like a doctor. I started speaking like a doctor. I started acting like a doctor. It comes with the territory. And so I saw that even before I got to the hospital, my mom would do things like that. I had family members and friends who would do the same thing. And before you knew it, I wouldn't even tell anyone. This has happened to me so many times. When I'm out and about and someone would just approach me, oh, are you a doctor? One time I was I think I was going to a friend's place and I wore sweatpants and a hood. And I put my earpiece on and I wore dark shades. And I wore socks and the fluffy slippers and I wore sweatpants and a hood, my earpiece on, and I was minding my business going about, and someone approached me, a gentleman approached me, said, are you a doctor? I smiled. I said, how did you know? He said, I don't know, I just know. That's because I didn't even have to be all properly dressed. It was just, being a physician is just part of who I am right now. I had a lot of people bless that into my life. I had myself bless myself. I am a doctor. I can do this. I've come this far. I'll surely finish this journey. I go to the hospital, attending physicians, speak blessings. That's how we become what has been seeded into our lives. So I want to speak to parents who are fond of insulting their children, calling them names in times of, yes, it's okay for us to get upset. But at least when you realize yourself, take it back, reverse it. Don't let it stick. All right? And woe to the children who insult their parents and call them names. My God, do you like your life? Children who insult their parents, do you like your life? Do you want to be successful in this life? Because if you do, then you will not even utter a negative, one curse word against your parents. Who gave birth to you? How dare you? Being in good standing with your parents, being in good standing with your father and your mother, or any figure who raised you as a father or mother, if you are not in good standing with them, it means you are cursing yourself. In case you didn't know that, let me break it down to you today. In case you did not know that, if you curse curse your mother or your father, you must be a fool. Excuse my language, but that is what you are. Because only a fool will curse themselves. Only a fool will bring curse upon themselves. It's not a coincidence when God says, honor your mother and father and you shall live long. God said it himself. Honor your father and mother. He did not say, curse your father and your mother. Honor your father and your mother and you will live long. So where are you coming from with curse? How does that fit? No. When you curse them, when you violate them, when you're not patient with them when they are aging, you are inviting curse upon your life. So I want to just give you a few scriptures. James chapter 3 verse 5. Mark chapter 11. It says that your tongue carries what? Your tongue carries power. And you don't want to misuse the power of your tongue for curse. But instead use it for blessings, okay? We see in the Gospel of John chapter 6 verse 63. It says the word you speak is life. That's why if you say positive things about yourself or your children, you get positive results. When they say, hey, mommy, daddy, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be this, I want to be that, encourage them. And you see they'll work towards it. Alright? Encourage them. That's you speaking life, speaking success into their life, into their destiny. Alright? Because the word that comes out of our mouth is life. And it is powerful. Okay? You know, in the previous spiritual video, I said something. I said, when you pray, when you are in a spiritual warfare, pray with the scriptures. Because the Bible tells us that God released the word and it accomplished the purpose for which the word was released. Let me take you back a little bit. A Roman soldier who was not an Israelite, a Jew, his servant was sick and he went to Jesus and said, Master, my servant is sick. If you could help her. So, and Jesus said, okay, let me go to your home. And the Roman soldier said, you need not do that. He said, I am a person of authority. And my word carries power. This is someone who was not even a Christian. My word carries power. When I tell someone, go there, they go there. When I tell someone, come here, they come here. And I'm a mere mortal. What more of you? He said, you need not come to my house, but just say the words, and my servant will be healed. And Jesus was amazed. He said, in all of my teaching time, I've not found anyone with such faith. But that man who was not even a follower of the true God knew the weight of the words that came out from the tongue. Your tongue is a seed planter. Use it to plant good seeds. Do not use it to plant spoiled seeds, rotten seeds. Alright? Encourage yourself. Encourage the people around you. And anyone that says anything contrary to what brings blessings into your life, reverse it, reject it, and cancel it. In the name of Jesus. And it's done. It's done. Alright? So today I just wanted to speak to you. So take an example from the Bible. Jesus, the scriptures I've given you. See how the tongue is powerful. And know that you can use the power of your tongue for good, not for evil. Alright? Use it for your good and for the good of your household, the good of your surrounding. Because what goes around comes back around. Right? Treat people the way you want to be treated. When you bless them, they will speak blessings back to you. You know, a simple good morning, it's a blessing. You're wishing them good morning, good afternoon, good morning. good evening, you're wishing them well. That's blessing. When you're wishing someone well, it's blessing. When you pass them by, you don't say a word. You don't say a word. They don't say a word to you. Some people say good morning or good evening. But if you want blessings, give blessings. If you want curse, give curse. But why would you want curse? I mean, the word is cursed enough as it is. The last thing you want is additional curse instigated by you, by yourself. You don't want that. So please be mindful of your tongue. Be mindful of your tongue. And be mindful of the seeds you plant with your tongue. Okay? Now, if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please leave a message at the bottom. I'll get back to you. But if you have any topics you'd like us to talk about, I'm open to suggestions. And but let me know your concerns, your questions, and I would love to hear from you. Let me know how you're enjoying these videos, if at all you're enjoying them. Let me know how you're enjoying them, and we'll make changes as we go, because I need you to understand my goal. Yes, I'm a physician, but I believe that as human beings, we don't only deal with the things of the physical, we also deal with the things of the spiritual, because we're spiritual beings. That's why we have a body and a spirit, right? We have a body, spirit, and soul. We have a spirit, yet we have bodies, right? So we are spiritual beings, just as we are physical beings, right? So as a doctor, I want to address our problems wholesomely. Because, let me twist it here a little bit. You know, sometimes the enemy will want to use words to curse sickness into your body. The enemy will actually do that. To some people, he does that. He curses them. He curses sickness. He curses them with infections, HIV/AIDS, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease. He gives them diseases that will kill them. So if it's something that's based on curse, if someone curses you and you get sick, you come to the hospital, the doctor will do everything they can, but they can't help you. You have to go and address the problem spiritually. You pray to God to reveal to you what the underlying cause of this sickness is. Because the doctors will put you on medicine, but that's not going to help you much. So, but when God reveals to you that, oh, someone cursed you, then you know to reverse it. When you reverse it, you don't need the doctor's medicine anymore. You don't need the prescriptions anymore. Problem is taken care of. So it will be behoove of me to think that it's all about physical and medicine. No, it's about both the physical and spiritual. So that's why I'm speaking to you, addressing some diseases, making you understand them. On the other hand, I'm helping you to understand things of the spiritual, or at least remind you. We're all learning. We're all still learning. That's why I'd love to hear from you. I love to hear from you. And I hope that you're learning from this. Okay? So thank you very much for watching. And see you shortly. Bye-bye.